Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SAS Viya Release Highlight Show. I'm your host, Diego D'Souza, and this month we'll be talking about SAS data. Okay, what's going on here? Am I getting replaced by a synthetic AI version of myself?
Yeah, we found that the AI version of you is nicer and doesn't complain.
Very funny. We'll see about this. Okay, hi everyone, I'm the actual Tiago, and welcome to the SAS Viya Release Highlight Show, where everything is authentic, except maybe some of the data, because this month we're diving deep into SAS Data Maker and the world of synthetic data. We've got a great show planned. In today's rundown segment, we will hear about the latest in SAS Model Manager from Sophia Rowland. Sasha Karpinski will also give us a preview of the SAS Viya Copilot for Augmented Analytics capabilities within SAS Visual Analytics, which will be available in public preview in the February release. Next up, my good friend David Vike will then take us into the SAS Viyaverse, where he will be covering a whole myriad of updates, including SAS Viya Copilot for intelligent decisioning, enhancements to the data Step Debugger, SAS ESP APIs and OpenAPI, and much more. And then in our release talk segment, I'm going to talk with Sundaresh Sankaran about SAS Data Maker, where he will break down how SAS Data Maker creates safe, high-quality synthetic data and how it's transforming testing, modeling, and innovation, all without compromising privacy. Hoo boy, it's that time. It's time for the rundown.
Hello folks, let's talk about some of the new features we recently released in SAS Model Manager. With the 2025.11 release of SAS Model Manager, users can specify a supported version of Python, which is currently Python 3.9 through Python 3.13, in the tool version property of a Python model, and when that model is published to a container destination, we will build that container to the version of Python specified. This helps ease the burden of dependency management for Python models by building that container to the specific needs of more Python models. In the 2025.12 release, our documentation Q&A Copilot went live for SAS Model Manager. For our first implementation of the SAS Viya Copilot, users can ask questions and get answers from our Model Manager documentation, and we have many more enhancements planned in 2026 to make the SAS Model Manager version of the SAS Viya Copilot smarter and more capable. Additionally, we added 2 publishing destinations for SAS models. The first is Single Store through Speedy Store, which is an in-database destination for storing data in batch performantly. The second is SAS Event Stream Processing, which places the model into an ESP container to be leveraged within streaming and IoT flows. There's a lot of great work planned for 2026, so stay tuned.
I'm excited to introduce SAS Viya Copilot for Augmented Analytics, available in preview starting in 2026.02 February release. In SAS Visual Analytics, SAS Viya Copilot supports report designers by simplifying complex work streams, generating ad hoc insights, and improving productivity. Viya Copilot allows you to interact with the Visual Analytics application using simple natural language, starting with finding the right data. Viya Copilot excels in report generation assistance. Instead of manually dragging and dropping visuals, you can ask the Copilot to create an entire report from scratch. Using simple or complex natural language prompts, Viya Copilot can quickly create new report pages and add graphs, tables, and other content like headers and footers to the page for additional context. In seconds, a complete dashboard is generated, with diverse visuals, appropriate titles, and a thoughtful layout, all from a single natural language prompt. Viya Copilot also helps you iterate faster. It can refine existing pages by adding, changing, moving, or deleting objects or other content. Here, I've replaced the time series visual showing historic data with a forecast visual that will help me apply some predictive analytics and forecast my inventory stock given cost development. You can also ask Copilot to apply filters, ranks, or display rules to other existing visuals for more targeted insights. Finally, Copilot helps you discover insights faster. Instead of spending time analyzing a dataset or dashboard, users can ask Copilot targeted questions and receive an answer with a supporting preview visual based on the existing report or underlying data. Throughout my chat, Viya Copilot maintains the conversational context, taking into account previous prompts and contextual clues from the chat to better understand my current request. Sometimes you might want to make preview visuals part of your existing report and share them with others. You can easily add them to the report canvas and maintain the ranks and filters that answered your original question. Outside of the chat pane, you can also use Viya Copilot to generate graph summaries for ad hoc analyses. The summary can provide insights such as trends, correlations, cyclical patterns, potential outliers, and more, all in an easy-to-read format.
Thank you, Sophia and Sasha. Lots of great new features in SAS Model Manager and for SAS Viya Copilot. Let's not stop now with all of the new features. Let's learn more by diving into the SAS Viyaverse with David Vike.
Hello, and welcome back for the first release of 2026. We have a new Copilot, we have exciting new developer features, and new APIs, and even some special features there. So let's dive right into it. We are starting things off this month with SAS Intelligent Decisioning, where we now also have a SAS Viya Copilot available to us, and we can use the SAS Viya Copilot icon to pull it into our application here, and then we can start chatting with it and asking questions around the documentation, and especially also around DS2 functions when you're building out complex rule sets and need some help on some syntax, for example. A really helpful feature that helps you build your decisions faster and understand the context in which they live. It can also answer questions around runtimes, like the microanalytics service and the SAS container runtime. So do check it out and make use of its new capabilities. Now, let us move on to SAS Studio, where we have an amazing new feature enabled for us. And that is the Data Step Debugger. Some of you might already be familiar with it as it has been available in SAS Studio before, but is now back and better than ever before. We can activate the debugger up top here. This will add a green line next to your data steps that you have within your code, as it's the data step debugger. And then you can click the little bug icon to bring up the data step debugger interface. Now in here, we have a couple of important features that we can make use of. First up, let's talk about this little bar of icons up top here. Continue essentially means go and run, right? Continue the execution until you hit the next natural breakpoint, which if I ran this right now, or let's just do this, will run through everything because there is no current breakpoints or anything like that. So let us start up the debugger again. We can stop the debugger, of course. We can step through our data step line by line, which can be very helpful if you're completely disoriented where some value suddenly gets filled from. This can be really helpful. If you have the point where there is a specific line where you're unsure when is that weird behavior showing up, you can toggle a breakpoint on the current line. So let's say on line 5, we want to set a breakpoint. And then this is indicated here on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side with this icon. You can also click to add breakpoints, and you can also clear them here through this icon and then remove all of the ones you have in your code at the moment. Then let us move to the right-hand side where we have our variables, and you can see the error and n variables which are created implicitly within the data step are also assigned in here, and you can click to watch their values, which will also print them down in our console, which is the next piece we are looking at, where you can of course utilize the SAS command palette, and you can click the little question mark to understand what is going on here. So you can interact with the data step debugger through here as well. And you even get some additional capabilities that the UI doesn't give you. And you can also scroll through it for the history of your debugging. And then, of course, you can also clear that console log to free up space and resume your debugging from here. Now, let us step through this line by line first. So we are going in here, we step the execution to the next line. We can see our t value being missing currently. We stepped until our breakpoint. We continue on. Now we are in line 6, and we can see t currently has the value 1. So next line, we hit the runs, or we are done with our previous statement. We are now at line 7, and we can see t was changed to 2. And if we follow along in the log, you can also see always these notes: debug step, t equals 1, old value equals missing. And then the second time we have t equals 2, old value equal 1. Now this is really a super helpful debugging capability, especially as you have highly complex data steps that fail in some unexpected way. Or maybe you have inherited something and someone before you did something really clever that you don't understand. Then fire up the data step debugger and dive right into what they have built for you. Now, you can of course close it and then also deactivate the debugging feature. So now you're back to your normal SAS Studio environment as you're used to it. Let us shift gear and go to our REST APIs. There is a new category available for us called IoT. Now, within IoT, we have, this is not only is this a brand new category, but we also get 2 API endpoints in here. One to interact with the event stream manager and one for the event stream processing studio. So you can really automate your work around that through these newly unlocked APIs. But what I actually want to highlight here is not only do we have these 2 new API endpoints, but the whole of the public REST API endpoints that you can find on this page now support a download button at the top of the endpoint, which downloads the OpenAPI YAML file, which follows the Swagger standard. So you can run and experiment with our APIs even easier than ever before. Just download the OpenAPI specification and open up that YAML file in any Swagger editor, or if you're using Visual Studio Code, you can download the Swagger plugin and open it up, start interacting with it in that way, and make exploring our APIs even more comfortable so you never have to leave your IDE of choice. Really an incredible, powerful new capability that has been unlocked in concert with these 2 new APIs that just became available. Really cool features. I'm really looking forward to playing more with them. And with that, I hope you enjoyed these updates and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, David. Just to reassure everyone, I can confirm that that was the real David Vike, and his whole segment was 100% human-generated. This brings us to our main topic for today, synthetic data. SAS Data Maker can create data that looks real, behaves realistically, and drives innovation without borrowing anyone's personal information. To help us separate the real from the synthetic, we'll talk to Sundaresh Sankaran, where he'll walk us through SAS Data Maker, what it is, why it matters, and how teams can start using synthetic data in SAS Viya today. Let's get into it. Hello, Sundaresh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tiago. Good to be here.
Of course. Last year at SAS Innovate, we talked about SAS Data Maker. So let's just recap for those that don't know. What is synthetic data and what is SAS Data Maker?
Synthetic data is data that's created based on some original data for a downstream use case. Data Maker is our latest synthetic data generation offering. It helps organizations generate data in a secure, relevant, and convenient manner. What sets us apart is that we help organizations implement enterprise-level synthetic data strategy beyond smaller tactical projects. Why is this important? Because no one generates data just for fun. There's always some downstream purpose. We've made sure SAS Data Maker helps organizations achieve that purpose and is a seamless part of a larger picture. To provide an analogy, when my school used to stage Christmas plays, I always played the role of the tree. Important, but not the hero. That's Data Maker, and we are happy to play such a role.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. I'm sure you played a very heroic tree. My next question is, what pain points specifically does SAS Data Maker solve for the customer?
Customers are constrained from fully exploiting rich data assets due to sensitive data elements and policies and regulations governing data use. Enterprises are, in most cases, custodians of data. They have a duty to protect this data. Data resides in secure, highly governed production environments, cannot move easily to other environments for analysis or testing. Data Maker helps enterprises mitigate this by learning real data patterns to produce similar observations, but at the same time, reduce the risk of data leakage or privacy compromise. Another challenge we hear about is data sufficiency. Lack of enough data observations, either for the whole or for a segment of the data. For example, predicting events in real data, fraud models, or rare diseases have extremely low event rates, less than 1% of cases sometimes. Often, models aren't very stable and accurate due to these low proportions. Synthetic data can help balance this proportion and help you obtain a robust and stable model. In addition to these, other use cases, performance and volume testing, stress testing, scenario analysis, all of which benefit from synthetic data generated by SAS Data Maker. Would you like a tour of SAS Data Maker?
Sundaresh, I'd like nothing more.
Here we go. SAS Data Maker runs as a focused standalone application running on customers' cloud tenants, and users with the right permissions create projects which can train models that learn from original data. Original data is accessed from input storage containers in different formats such as Parquet. We love Parquet, by the way. CSV, SAS datasets, and Avro. Multiple input data files can be added to a project, and Data Maker is intelligent enough to infer relationships in them. This helps maintain referential integrity. While Data Maker is intelligent, it does not arbitrarily make all decisions for you. Project designers are the human in the loop and have full control over data configuration and can have access to several data types, semantic types, and special handlers. For example, you can define fake but realistic names and addresses to take the place of real names and addresses. The next step is to train a generator, which is an AI model that learns patterns from original data. Think of a generator as a set of machine instructions that consumers of synthetic data can call any number of times they want, today, tomorrow, even 3 months on. During the training stage, you can protect data further through differential privacy, a setting that injects noise elements to make it hard to connect synthetic and real data. Then you assess synthetic data quality, and this assessment depends on what you plan to use it for. Project designers can train multiple iterations and make objective, informed decisions on the right generator that satisfies their use case. A range of evaluation metrics helps them, from similarity-based metrics, how close it is to original, to disclosure-based metrics that measure risk of data leakage and compromise. At the final stage, we shift personas to the consumer. People who consume synthetic data are not always the people who train models. Consumers only want to access capabilities they need, like destination, type, and volume of synthetic data they require. Referential integrity is maintained and consumers get a self-service generation experience. Synthesized data available in your specified format can easily be ingested for downstream analysis, and that is the process end to end. As you can see from this diagram, devotion to the process through which we generate synthetic data ensures quality, improves first-pass yield, and promotes trustworthy AI through good governance.
Perfect. Thank you for taking us through that demo. It always helps me get a first-hand look of a tool like SAS Data Maker. If users want to, how can they get access to SAS Data Maker?
SAS Data Maker is available on Microsoft Marketplace, delivered software as a service, and runs on customers' Azure tenants as a managed application. We offer a pay-as-you-go pricing model where you pay based on observations generated. And you generate observations only after you are satisfied with the model that you trained. Our delivery and pricing models give customers tremendous benefits. They are not caught up in long-term licenses or contracts. They can be flexible in their use of the software. They have reduced administration costs. And I'll underscore this. They pay for the value they get, which is synthetic data output. All of this from a focused, best-in-class application that can only get better.
Awesome. I'm a big fan of the pay-as-you-go model so customers can use it as they need. What are the plans for SAS Data Maker for the future? Are there new features or platforms that we can look forward to?
We deal with data. As we move forward, we want to promote easier and convenient sharing of data in a secure and governed manner. This can be achieved through a marketplace for generators within our application, where consumers of synthetic data can choose from different generators related to a domain. Further, we want to expand access to Data Maker capabilities. One way of doing this is to provide multiple windows and access to Data Maker functionality across the analytics life cycle and do so in an appropriate manner. For example, functionality a data scientist requires is different from the functionality a tester of decision flows requires and is different from what a data engineer requires. We are actively discussing this topic. We believe it will expand applications of synthetic data across the analytics life cycle. Finally, we'll consider additional cloud providers and platforms because the data landscape is so diverse and varied. As we do that, we'll stick to core principles of reduced data movement, appropriate access to functionality, and service-oriented delivery.
Perfect. That's a good set of things that we can look forward to in the future. But what can users do right now with SAS Data Maker?
We appreciate that customers love to try our software and take it through the paces as they come to a decision. For this reason, a managed trials environment is available, where customers can use SAS Data Maker for a limited time from an educational and experience perspective. Contact your SAS sales representative to start a trial. We've also collected a lot of useful resources at our Getting Started page on SAS Communities, where you'll find tutorials, videos, and articles about synthetic data. You'll find the link in the description below. Finally, the wonderful thing about software as a service is that it's so easily accessible. I invite viewers, check out SAS Data Maker in the Microsoft Marketplace. Again, find the link in the description. Simply install SAS Data Maker for yourself through guided automation. You're free to try SAS Data Maker with low entry barrier, with no requirement or compulsion to pay anything to SAS until you generate data.
So Naresh, I love that. A lot of resources, SAS communities, there's the free trial. We also have an upcoming Ask the Expert as well on SAS Data Maker that I'm looking forward to. I also heard that for SAS Innovate, there's going to be a SAS Data Maker presence there, possibly. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
That's right. We have a booth at Innovate we also will make SAS Data Maker available as part of a hackathon bootcamp that we're organizing at the event.
Perfect. Hopefully I'll see you there. I'll definitely stop by if I'm going. Sounds great. And thanks for coming onto the show and telling us so much about SAS Data Maker.
You bet. Remember, I'm the tree in the play. You're the star. I'll just go back to being in the background. You carry on.
Oh, stop. It's exciting to imagine how agent-driven automation will make SAS Data Maker even more intelligent, scalable, and impactful in the months ahead. And with that, we have reached the end of today's show. But before I go, I want to remind everyone that SAS Innovate 2026 is coming up April 27th through the 30th in Texas. SAS Innovate, of course, is our biggest data and AI gathering of the year for SAS customers, users, and partners. We're talking about more than 200 breakout sessions, 50 workshops and labs, 100 demos, 60 booths, 20 certification opportunities, and so much more. You can visit sas.com/innovate to learn more and to register. If you like today's show, why not give us a like, subscribe to the SAS Users YouTube channel, and click that bell so you'll get notified for new videos and when we go live for our next show in April. Until then, comment on what topics you'd like to see us synthesize in future shows. It's been real. Thanks for watching.